What's up, hockey fans? Happy Tuesday. Pod Snipe Celly coming at you. Dan Bradley, Joel Fernino. Joel, how you doing tonight, my friend?
You just threw me off on that intro. You're changing up the words a bit.
You know, sometimes you just got to keep the people on their toes.
For the
Myself
record,
and yourself included.
I can be on my toes if I raise my chair a little bit. I could do it. I would be able to do it for the bit. We haven't done that in a while.
We haven't done it for the bit in a while. You know why? It's because the Coyotes haven't been playing for a while, and normally that's our go-to bit.
Yeah, and the Coyotes might not be the Coyotes in a couple of years anyway.
Yeah, they'll be the Coyotes. They'll just be the Quebec City Coyotes. They'll be the Houston Coyotes.
Houston.
They'll be the Wood Buffalo Coyotes. Literally any city outside of Arizona.
Buffalo?
Wood Buffalo.
Oh, gotcha.
Wood Buffalo.
Yep. Okay. Well,
yep, that's
good.
That's a hockey Reddit meme for you.
Oh, okay. Well,
old
I'm good.
We already got.
Did you have a good 3-day weekend, Dan?
You know, I originally thought it was going to be a 2-day weekend. Started the new job recently, and
everyone gets Memorial Day off. It doesn't matter when you started.
Well, the company is based out of Sweden, so
that okay.
They don't necessarily celebrate the same holidays.
Definitely
There's a couple
fair.
that are the same, but not all of them.
Didn't know that part.
But yeah, so I worked for about an hour, and then they were like, "Hey, today's a U.S. federal holiday. You don't have to work U.S. federal holidays." I was like, "Cool."
Thanks you.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know. So I worked for like an hour yesterday morning, and then took the rest of the day off, and life was pretty good. How about you? Do anything exciting over Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah, I went to Michigan. Visited our good old Call of Duty buddy Ryan.
Missed that dude. Haven't caught up with him in a while.
I told him we need to get the team back together, and he agreed. So
this weekend, let's do it.
I should be able to, yeah. But went out there. Had some fun out there. Went to visited a Comerica Park. Saw a Tigers Sox game. The Sox got their ass kicked. Expected. Heyo.
It's Matthew.
Yeah, him
and then Wild Talk.
Him and I had a
blaming Joel for the late start tonight.
What? Whoa! I was here on time.
You can blame the technology for the late
so blame
start,
Dan
because apparently Joel didn't get the invite link. It didn't go through, and I had to send it a couple times for it to finally kick through. Ended up sending about 4 of them. So glad the last one finally went.
You
through.
Also didn't say you're here and ready until 7:02. I was ready by 6:50.
I said I'm here and ready because I thought you were coming in and was waiting on you after getting the invite. So
don't listen to the conspiracy theories, everybody. This one was on Dan.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Hey, but I was about to say our hope and our prediction happened. We have a Stanley Cup by our episode today.
And it was darn close too, because Dallas tried to make a series out of it.
You know what the
until
was?
Jamie Benn was back in the lineup.
I was going to say there's 2 differences. Jamie Benn was back in the lineup, and I didn't watch games 4 or 5.
Yeah, so I blame you for ruining my Stanley Cup prediction, and I will be invoicing you for the money which I bet. So, thanks.
Send back. Well, wait. Let's just say we'll split it. I owe you 5, and then the other 5 was for the Bedard bet.
You already paid me for that.
That was the best. That was best $10 I could have ever sent you. Anyway,
that's fantastic.
It was close.
The Stanley Cup Final is set. It will be the Vegas Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers,
as
one way or another
predicted.
Yeah, trust as we all predicted. And one way or another, whoever wins, we will have a first-time Stanley Cup champion.
That's how it should be. That's cool.
Mm.
Some new blood on both ends. One of them hasn't been to the Stanley Cup Final since, what was it, 95, I
96.
believe? 96.
96.
And then obviously, the Knights, this will be their second appearance in their very short 6-season lifespan. But still, the last time they were there was what? Was it 2017, right? Yeah, so.
It was the 17-18 season, yeah, because that was when the Caps won the Cup.
Yep. I mean, I'm excited. As I always say, Vegas is my second team, so I'm obviously pulling for them. But it's one of those, I wouldn't be mad if Florida won. But also Florida has become like a Boston in a way. Like the last few years, they have had success in every single sport, whether it's championship victories or at least making it to the championship. The Heat are in the NBA finals. Like Miami is just rolling right now in their winter sports leagues.
Speaking of Boston, how about Boston having 2 8 seeds knock their team out of the playoffs in Game 7 at home?
Can you say it again? It's music to my ears.
It's like I genuinely can't think of a time that's happened in really any other sport.
No.
Well, I guess it's the only ones where you'd have the 1/8 would be hockey and basketball.
Yeah, so it's the only time it could really happen unless some formats change. But yeah, no, it's nuts. It's crazy. Florida's operating on vibes right now. I mean, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I guess we can hop right into it. Like, look, no one had Florida getting past the first round. That's obvious. But, however, even after they did that, and we got to the Eastern Conference Finals of Florida and Carolina, I would, if you were going to tell me in Game 1, and you and I were making our predictions of how many games it would go, if you were going to tell me that they were going to sweep Carolina, I would have said you were smoking.
Yeah, they. Well, first off, it's not a sweep. Just ask Rod Brindamore.
It
wasn't a sweep.
We didn't lose 4 games. All right.
Except you did.
Maybe technically because you played 2 games in the first game, maybe. But.
Well, and the games were all close. So, like, yes, I understand the point he's trying to make, but
I
like
love
it or not, you got swept.
Yeah, I love me some Rod Brindamore. He's an amazing coach, but like, come on, buddy, don't pass the buck there. Don't start talking technicalities. Your ass got swept. Deal with it.
Rank Brindamore among NHL head coaches. Like, if you were to pick top 3, top 5, I don't have to put you on the spot, but just rough general area. You don't even have to pick a true number 1 here. Just looking for roughly where you have him at.
I mean, if I can't really put him in a spot, he's absolutely in the top 5. Of active right now.
Yeah, active.
Absolutely top 5. I don't know where I exactly would rank him, but I definitely would slot him into the top 5. I don't really. I'd need more time to come up with the other 4, but he's absolutely in the top 5.
Yeah, 5 for sure. Maybe 3. I might have him sliding into the top 3.
I could absolutely put him in the top 3. Quite frankly, you'd be able to give me an argument for number 1. We need to review.
Matthew said no Rod quote will come close to Ben's quote before his hearing.
Okay, yeah, let's both get our feelings out of the way. Jamie Benn is an asshole.
Did you see our buddies over with the Soda Pod, Hoppy and Spoke Z, do their bit of Ben's comments?
No.
They spoofed it. You gotta go check that one out.
I'll have to go check it out then.
Yeah.
Because I loved seeing everything making. Jamie Benn was public enemy number 1 to every single fan base that isn't the Dallas Stars fan base. And hell, even half their fan base was like, yeah, that was kind of rough.
Well, and the part that really got to me was listening to ESPN's broadcast. Like, you would have thought that Jamie Benn was like playing through some injury, or that like everyone in his family had they were giving him a hero's welcome coming back into the lineup and completely glossing over the fact that he tried to break Mark Stone's neck.
I'm going to go off on a limb and say, and I like to give credit where, I like to give credit. I know we hate on ESPN for how they handle the NHL, and rightfully so. We should hate on them for it because most of them do a terrible job. But I'll give them credit. But in this case, this falls under that bucket of, I think that's just ESPN doing their stereotypical ESPN thing of, oh, big star in league, coming back after being suspended or not being in the last game or 2. Yeah, now we got to put a story spin on it and make it this crazy comeback tale. Will it be the difference? And yeah, it was the difference, just not in the right way.
Yeah. I mean, and you can talk up the storyline because, yeah, not having Jamie Benn in the lineup on paper, that's a huge loss for Dallas. But he's your captain. He's one of your leading scorers.
I get it.
He's someone you expect to play that big role. But you cannot completely gloss over the fact that his own actions kept him out of 2 playoff games, and really 3, if you consider he got thrown out 2 minutes into the game when he committed the infraction.
Right. And people were making the argument that game 3 went so poorly because he got kicked out so fast.
Mhm.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like if ESPN was really paying attention to games 4 and 5, you can't even have a leg to stand on with that kind of comeback story, because the 2 games he was out, they won.
Yeah.
They literally played so much better. One of them went to overtime, right? I couldn't watch those 2 games.
Yep.
Yeah. So I couldn't watch the 2 Dallas wins, which, like I said, that was the difference. I watched every game except 4 and 5. But pay attention. Clearly, the better narrative and the more fun narrative as well. Maybe he should have been suspended for 4 games. Dallas would think so. Dallas would agree.
Yeah. Just the whole and game 3 was completely just backwards. And like everything fell apart for Dallas in that one. You have Jamie Benn getting
game
tossed.
6 didn't.
You had there too.
Last night was
but at least in
hilarious.
game 3, I mean, you had Dodonov getting hurt. You had Ben getting thrown out. You had Domi taking a 10-minute misconduct at the end of the second period. So they're starting that third period basically with 9 forwards to play with at that point. Ottinger was way off. Yeah. I think it had to be that the grind of the long season really got to Ottinger, because he basically doubled his career games played this season. And like he looked so good against Minnesota and early against Seattle, but it just fell apart. And he was missing shots that he should have saved.
I typically don't have the meat-headed takes. I'll have the meat-headed take here. I don't want to hear it when you're a young goaltender that it got to you. He was on fire in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Are you all of a sudden just gonna die off? I don't believe it. Especially he's a young goaltender too. What is he? 23?
Well, 24? Yeah, but when you go from playing, 20-something, 30-something games at juniors or the collegiate level, whatever, and then you go to 24. Playing 60 in the regular season plus playoffs, and Dallas was pretty much back-to-back almost the entire way. Said 6 with Minnesota, they had 7 and then 6. Not to mention
I just don't.
Matthew brings up here, he got hung out to dry by his defense as well.
Ooh, absolutely, but the thing is I'm not going to subscribe to him just losing it. I think the better team won. The deeper team won. Not to mention the team with the better leadership. I mean, Vegas. Look, we made the joke at the beginning of Stanley Cup Final, Vegas Golden Knights and Florida Panthers, as we all predicted. The joke more leans on the Florida's end. Vegas, we all said Vegas can absolutely come out of the West easily. Mm-hmm. So that's not really unexpected, truly.
Yeah, there's a reason that they were your 1 seed in the conference.
Yeah, I mean, it was for me, it was a coin toss. Once we really started to see some upsets and everything, Colorado's out, all that good stuff. I was like, it's a coin toss for me between Edmonton and Vegas. And sure enough, too, I was like, look, whoever wins that Vegas Edmonton series is going to the Cup. And told you.
Are you concerned about the amount of time off that Florida has had going into Stanley Cup? Because they last played on May 24th, and the first game of the Stanley Cup round is going to be on June 3rd.
Yep.
So
Saturday.
Basically 11 days between games. That's a lot of time off. And for a team that has basically been in playoff mode since about mid to late February, with we have to basically win every single game the rest of the way just to get to the playoffs. Down 3-1 to Boston, battled back to win that series. Had a little bit of time off after beating Toronto, but they were basically neck and neck with Carolina in terms of rest. And after all of that, now you've got a lot of time off. I really wonder how that's going to affect Florida in game 1. Are they going to be rested or are they going to be rusted?
This is going to be a weird answer. Any other round, I'd be, a little concerned. I mean, I remember when the Hawks were making all their runs, if they have, any of the sweeps they had, I was always like, oh crap, like please don't get complacent. Like, you guys are hot. Like, don't let the flame die out. This is a lot of time off. Oh God. It's almost kind of in a way like the calluses are built now. Like, don't let those heal up, so to speak. Any other round, I would say, it's a little concerning. Obviously, rest is great. Probably optimal. I never played. I don't know. I would love to talk to an actual player and maybe get their take on it. But I'd imagine, since it's the Stanley Cup Final, I think it's fine. I think regardless of the amount of time off, and I agree with I agree to an extent to this kind of extended gap between series ending and then the final starting, because Vegas should be allowed to at least get a somewhat similar time off that Florida had. By the time we start, like you said, Florida will have 11 days. That gives Vegas, what is it? 5, right? So
from last night,
obviously, as that works, they'll never have just as much time as Florida, but they should at least get about 5. Right.
A couple extra days.
Exactly. They should be allowed that. Maybe not too much, because obviously they're at home anyway, so they got the luxury, right? Florida's got to travel. So that's why I think it's probably, it's probably fine. It's probably null and void because, Florida's got the extra time off, but they also have to do the traveling. So first. So I think I think they'll be fine. If it hurts anyone, if I really had to say it hurts anyone, it might hurt Bob.
Yeah, because he was just so in rhythm.
Yep. And if you catch him out of rhythm, I was listening to Eddie Olszak on, they had him on the Blackhawks Talk podcast that one of our local guys, Pat Boyle, does. NBC Sports Chicago guy. They had Eddie Olszak on, and most of the talk was about the final preview. And I mean, the biggest thing he mentioned, and I totally agree, is if you're goaltending, if you don't get the goaltending, you're screwed. It's not going to happen for you. And obviously both of these teams have had the goaltending, and that's what's going to tell the start. If you don't get the goaltending, you're screwed. Adin Hill has been arguably just as good as Bobrovsky.
He actually, among goaltenders with at least 5 playoff starts, best goals against average, best save percentage among playoff goaltenders.
Oh, he passed him in save. Well, that would make sense. He played 2 extra games.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. So Adin Hill was a little different. I don't know if it was really him getting in a rhythm. I think he was just kind of there. Bobrovsky, we know, is spotty, but he's been in rhythm every single series. So as long as what do we got, Matthew? So, I mean, by 48 hours post-game, you were feeling relatively fine unless you're healing an injury, but I never played higher than the U.S. high-performance program, so take it with a grain of salt. No, that makes total sense. And I mean, I don't know. I think the rest, you definitely got to worry about it, especially for Bobrovsky, who needs to stay in a rhythm to actually stay hot. But not every goalie is the same. Not every player is going to be that way.
Definitely harder on goaltenders just because you want to feel some pucks.
Yep.
And I'm sure he's been practicing. He's been seeing, go through almost like a game day skate type routine just to stay, focused, stay on track. But no amount of practice can fully simulate the game conditions of a Stanley Cup Final.
Exactly.
They just can't.
And that's why I'd argue, like, the rest doesn't bother me, because both of these teams are going to go in so ridiculously amped up. You almost never see 2 teams come out and get obliterated in game 1. They're both equal parts nervous and equal parts amped, right? So hell, I almost want to go into it and say bet the under on game 1.
I need to see where the lines are at.
I know.
Because if it's under 5.5, I think I take the over. If it's under 6 and I can get a push, or under 6.5, then I'm thinking
I'm pretty sure every game has been sitting at 5.5 lately.
Yeah,
so
that's about right.
I guess you're right. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Based on most game 1 of Stanley Cup Finals that I can remember in recent memory, the under is Close, very close. Usually like a 3-2 final, a 2-1 final. Sometimes, like I don't remember the last game one of the final that went over 6 goals or over 6.5, I should say.
I gotta ask.
Oh,
the time has finally come.
Oh man,
Which team
will win
their first Stanley Cup? Florida or Vegas?
This isn't me. So I'm going to pick. Well, so yeah, I guess we should probably say, are we going to pick one with our heart, one with our head, or doesn't really matter?
Sure.
All right. Well, then, in my case, my heart and my head actually are the same, believe it or not. I think Vegas finally does it. I mean, a thing I had heard, and what we've seen so far too, of the two teams, Florida is obviously riding the heater, and it's a long heater. Vegas, though, and maybe you can argue this with me, is the deeper team, as they've shown. And typically, what I've noticed, and I know another thing, I was listening to that podcast, Eddie Olczyk said this too, I totally agreed. I think we all see this. When Vegas doesn't allow rushes, odd man rushes, or any type of speed rushes or anything like that, and really shuts down the game defensively, they've typically come out on top. If they can continue to do that like they have now done in the last 3 rounds, I don't think they got to worry about anything. But at the same time, these teams are, outside of my depth comment, these teams are fairly evenly matched. Vegas is the favorite right now. I did look at the odds just to win the Stanley Cup. Vegas is the favorite, at least on FanDuel. I didn't check anything else on BetStamp, but
they're the overall betting favorite for the series at this point. Right?
Yeah, but yeah, I'd say with my heart and my head, I think Vegas finally does it. Only in year now 7 of their very short franchise life. 6?
Yeah.
Can I not do math?
Math is hard.
Wait, no. They came in 2016, right?
17.
The 16-17 season.
17-18.
17-18?
Yep.
Oh, all right. Well, I can't do math then. All right. Either way, their short 6-year.
This many.
Yeah. Does the thumb count? I don't think the thumb counts now.
Of course.
Yeah. So in their very short time as a franchise, I'm saying it only takes them 6 years. They finally do it. And I'm not going to be mad if Florida ends up completing the Cinderella story. That'd be awesome. But I think the Cinderella story gets sliced in half. Small night, pun intended.
I somehow I'm looking at my bracket rank.
I never actually
by some miracle, I'm in the top 150,000 of the more than 1 million people who filled out their brackets.
Did you had Vegas?
I had Vegas and Dallas in the conference finals. That was
right. So
what saved my butt.
So now you're dead, though. Both your cup teams are gone.
But yeah, my cup is dead because, of course, I had them beating Boston. So
well,
yeah.
What did I have? I had
that one.
God, I was at least somewhat closer.
Boston, Colorado, didn't you?
No, I had no. I had Edmonton and New York.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You had Edmonton.
Rangers. Sorry, I had Edmonton and Rangers, and I believe I had the Rangers winning. Or no, I'm sorry, I had Edmonton winning in 7. Which, hey man, there's the other thing too, man. Look at the. I would argue and I'm a Vegas fan, and I would still say like this is more Twitter trolliness than anything else I've seen. Is all of the comments of Jack Eichel Stanley Cup appearances 1, Connor McDavid 0. He's better than McDavid. I'm like, okay, settle down. He's making far less money, so there's more room to put him on.
I'm gonna put up a couple predictions from the chat here.
Florida in 5.
After saying Florida in 5.
Jesus.
We got Ben saying likes the Knights over the Panthers. And another comment from Matthew here. It's insane to think that at the deadline last year, they were in shambles over the Dodonov trade deadline fiasco, which if you remember that.
I do. And what did I tell you? And you can vouch for me. How many times did I say it in the playoffs last year? And have I said it all regular season this year? I've said it during the playoffs. Last year's Vegas team was a fluke.
Mm-hmm.
I told everyone on this show, they will be right back in it I said it last year. So for this season. Did that necessarily mean Cup Final? No, but it definitely meant Cup contending, or at least Conference Final contending. I told you.
I am having such a hard time picking a winner. And it kills me that I have to put an answer on the show tonight. Because if I could get away with not answering that question until about 7:59 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, I would absolutely take all of that time.
I get it.
to dig in and make my prediction. Also, I feel like just the way that Wednesday night pick segment has gone this year, playoff pick segment has gone this year, whoever I pick is doomed to fail.
Okay.
So there's that. I am going to go.
You don't even have to say in how many games. I didn't say in how many games. I don't know yet. I really can't. I don't think you and I need to make a decision on that yet. That's tough. If you need to think, I can ramble on one quick note too. If you need to think a little bit.
I'm not going to predict number of games.
Here's the thing. I can't predict number of games because my heart actually would lean further than my head, because I actually will be in Vegas from June 18th until June 21st or 22nd or whatever it is. And I already looked ahead at the schedule. If this goes to 7, I will be in Vegas for Game 7. And you better believe I will be at what the hell's their stadium name again? I can't remember.
Oh boy, what is it?
Wow, I should know this if they're my second team, but
T-Mobile.
Yeah, I will be at. That's it. Thank you. I will be at T-Mobile Arena. I don't care how much money I'm paying. I don't care if it's the nosebleeds. I will be at that game.
I want you to do a Kevin Weeks style live on our Twitter, on the Snipe Celly Twitter page. Just a quick hitter with the vibes are immaculate.
Good evening, all you Snipe Celly fans.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news: the vibes
Jolsey
are
coming
immaculate.
at you
here. Jolsey, oh my god, is that my official hockey nickname?
Probably.
Jolsey sounds a lot like Shorzy. Maybe I should start talking like him. For what?
Until you've seen Shorzy, until you've finished Letterkenny, one of those two.
I get it.
Until we get that far along.
Yeah, I get it. That's fine. But yeah, just the vibes are immaculate. The cup will be handed out tonight, and I will see the cup in person get handed out tonight.
That also means we're going to have to do a show that Tuesday in Vegas. Either way, you'll be in Vegas for that show.
I'll be in Vegas for that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'd make that work, but
it'd be the next day.
I will still be in Vegas.
Right. But what I'm saying is the show, it would be 5:00 Vegas time, right? Or 6?
5.
That's what I thought. So yeah, 5:00 Vegas time. You're probably just about done with work at that point, unless you're not going for work.
I'm not going for work. It's just vacation.
Oh, well never mind then. Then by all means.
I mean, like I said, I'll still do the whole live thing. Again, that's if this goes to 7. Something tells me it probably won't because I'm not that lucky. But remember, I used all my luck on the Bedard pick. My luck is now spent. My sports luck has been spent for the year of 2023.
Maybe 2024 too.
I hope not.
for somebody like Bedard, yeah, the
Bears are just starting to get decent. No.
They'll be better. Well,
oh no, we were talking about this too. I know this is a tangent, but we were talking about this too before I got here about like how the Hawks will be next year, and I still think they're going to be bad. We're going to be picking in the top 10 again. I'm pretty sure, unless Luke Richardson.
It depends what they do with $41 million in cap space.
Well, like I told you, and I'm to call this a prediction, and this is more of an off season or our draft pre-show or our little draft show we do. I can see us making some sort of, dump move that we were making back in 2015-16 when we needed to dump salary. We dumped Brian Bickle onto Carolina. We needed to get rid of that contract, but they were like, well, yeah, we'll do that. But in return, we're going to need someone good. So we sent them Teuvo Teravainen. So I'm hoping we can somehow do something like that where it's like, yeah, we'll take on that contract for you, or that player that sucks, but you pay him too much. But you need to send us a damn good player too.
Matthew asking, how long does it take for the Hawks to turn around and contend? I say 6 to 7 years. This being cut for a cup, 6 to 7. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, to actually a playoff contender?
For a playoff spot, I'm thinking
2
to 3. I'm thinking cup is more like about 5.
Yeah.
5 to 6, somewhere in there.
It's going to depend.
But
that's another topic.
Yeah, tease for later in the show.
Exactly.
I am going to get my pick in.
Would you like a drum roll? I can give you a drum roll.
Oh, sure. Hit me with it. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, can you hear it? Ah.
I am picking the Florida Panthers.
I kind of knew that's where you were going to go.
I don't know. There's something about it. I love Bobrovsky. Our boy HP loves Bobrovsky.
We don't have to make this official, but let's just say guns to both of our heads right now if we had to pick the number of games. Not official, but just...
I'd say 6.
I would probably agree with you.
But you're taking Vegas in 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely no sweeping happening. If a sweep happens either way, I would be floored.
Might want to trade Bedard now. He might not re-sign in 3 years. Matthew at the church tonight. I love it.
He will make $15 million a year.
I want to get to a couple of pieces of hockey news from today. The Nashville Predators have parted ways with John Hynes after 4 seasons. It doesn't sound like it's official yet. I think they're going to officially announce it tomorrow. But sounds like Andrew Brunette is expected to be the next Predators head coach.
Former Hawk.
He was the former Wild, former assistant with the Florida Panthers, was the interim coach for that team last year, was an assistant with New Jersey this year. Someone who we thought was going to be in line for a head coaching gig here sooner rather than later. And it looks like he's going to get that chance with the Predators. But not the only coaching hire of the day, because we also had the Washington Capitals hiring Spencer Carberry as their head coach. Joel, both of these guys, first time as an NHL head coach. Which situation would you rather be walking into? Nashville, where you've got kind of a juggernaut for the Central over the next couple of years, or Washington, where you've got kind of an aging core and you have a lot of players 33 plus and a lot of players 23 under. You don't really have that middle age group.
Well, I mean, I guess soft technicality, Andrew Brunette is, but isn't a first-time head coach technically.
It is in a full-time role.
First full-time role. I got you.
Yeah,
he's not backing up. However, his half stint went pretty damn well. Granted, it was with a team that is now sitting in the Stanley Cup Final, but the better situation. That's tough.
It is.
Something tells me Washington's about to enter rebuild mode outside of Ovechkin. Ovechkin's not going anywhere. If he did, that'd be weird at this point in his career. I mean, it was weird. It was weird for me to think Kane and Taves were going anywhere.
I was just going to say, we thought it was weird that Kane and Taves would be out, even though we knew those contracts were going to be bad. Ovi has at least still produced at a level that is roughly commensurate in value with his contract.
He's also,
but we're talking about arguably the greatest goal scorer of all time.
Exactly. That's the difference. Like, yes, those two are the two of the best players the Blackhawks franchise will ever see. And yes, they are two of the best players to ever play in the NHL. But we're talking about Alex Ovechkin. He is at a much higher level. He's on his way, like we said. He's going to break the goal scoring record. Like, it's just, they're just two different tiers. So, like, yes, while it's weird for anyone to see Taves and Kane go anywhere from the Hawks, it, to me, and yes, this is coming from the Hawks fan, would almost be even weirder to see Ovechkin go anywhere else.
Yeah.
It somehow, believe it or not, it'd be weirder to see Ovechkin than it is for a Hawks fan to see Kane and Taves somewhere else.
But he will be on the Caps power play till he's 50.
That's
He'll play 8 minutes a game. It will be all 4 power plays that the Caps get. He will be at the top of the left dot the entire power play.
He's
not
preserved.
Have to back skate.
That's how you preserve him. Like, that's his office. He camps out there anyway at age 30. What is he? 38, right? 39?
I thought 37.
Maybe 37. 38, maybe. 38 by the time next season.
He is 37.
So he's 37. So 38.
But his birthday is September, so he'll be 38 heading into next season.
So yeah, like, he already camps out in his office anyway, and he has done so his whole career. I mean, you could make a living just hanging out there and then going to the bench.
50 years old and he'll still tuck 30 on the power play.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe because of everything we've just said, maybe that is the better situation. Because I think the Capitals have a bit of a direction. I think we're slowly seeing them potentially go into, all right, maybe not rebuild, but let's see if we can retool.
I was looking this one up earlier today and just kind of what the direction is for the Caps. Backstrom, probably done. He has 2 years remaining, but he may end up LTI retired.
Could take on his contract.
Go that route. 9.2 mil. They'll get you some cap relief. Although, for the Hawks standpoint, it depends how bad they want to be next year too. But you have that. You have TJ Oshie is 36 with 2 years left on his deal. John Carlson, 33 with 3 more years on his deal. It's not great, but you look down the pipeline at some of the guys that they have in the system. You got guys like Hendrix Lapierre and Ivan Miroshnichenko, Connor McMichael, some of these guys who are going to be on their way up over the next couple of years. Miroshnichenko is going to be really good.
No, I get it. And I mean, I was reading up when it got released, the Capitals tweeted out the NHL.com article, and I was just reading up on Cartberry a little bit specifically. I mean, he was, obviously he was the Leafs assistant coach the last couple of years, but he brings a big power play strength to his tenure. I mean, in his first season with them, the Leafs were first in 21-22. The Leafs were first in power play percentage. 7.3% improvement from the previous season before he got there, right? So over 2 full seasons, Toronto converted on 26.6% of their power play opportunities, second highest rate in the league during that span. So, I mean, I know the talent that he was working with, but he's got Alex Ovechkin. So, like, that power play was already good because of the power play was already decent because of Alex Ovechkin. Now you have supposedly this, arguably, I'll say, power play guru as your head coach. Like, their power play is going to be nasty, most likely.
It will. And usually the assistant kind of runs a little bit more they're a little more hands-on with the special teams units, and the coach is more overall. But the head coach is still the one not only picking which players are going to be in those roles, but what systems you're running as you do it.
Right.
So he'll set the tone, and the assistant will bring it along and develop it. That's going to be a really fun power play to watch. It always is, but especially next season to see what they do.
I've talked myself into, I would say Carberry probably has the better situation. Because, like, yeah, they haven't picked a lane, but are they going to win a cup? No, probably not. But they still have a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of talent coming up. They still have a lot of talent on their roster, even though they're aging. You have the future best goal scorer ever. I'd vote that side. Also, Andrew Burnett's going to have a hell of a time because he has to play against Connor Bedard.
Yeah, I guess there's that. I look at this Nashville team, and I think there's a lot of talent there that just hasn't put it together for whatever reason over the last couple of years. I mentioned this to you and HP earlier. I feel like Nashville is kind of roughly where the Minnesota Wild were at about 3 years ago, where you're good enough to be kind of a bubble playoff team, but you're not good enough to do anything when you get there. You're either going to be carried in by your defense and goaltending and then lose because you can't score a goal, or you'll get just enough goals to get by, but then your goaltenders will be hurt. You'll lose all of your defensemen. That, to me, is about where Nashville is at right now. But with the talent level that is there, too, if Brunette can unlock some of those guys, and we can see guys like Philip Forsberg continue to elevate their game, having him only play 50 games this year is a killer. Having Yossi play 67 when he's normally playing 82. Getting your guys like Nino Niederreiter and Ryan Johansson and Cody Glass, like all of these guys, if you can flip that switch wherever it is and unlock their game, like what he did with Florida during the regular season last year, I think you have the makings of a strong team in Nashville. Not to mention, I think they have one of the best goaltending prospects, if not the best goaltending prospect on the planet, in Yaroslav Askarov, who will be probably 2 years away from making his NHL debut. I think he and Jesper Wallstedt are going to come up about the same time. But holy crap, is Askarov good. He's got the Milwaukee Admirals in the Western Conference Finals right now in the AHL playoffs. And I've been raving about this guy for years. Like, he's going to be so, so good. I almost wonder if you kind of get like a blank slate type of effect with Washington where, Ovechkin and company, it'd be nice if you could get one more, but you're probably like, you got the one, you got the first one in franchise history. You got Ovi his cup. You don't really try and like what the Hawks did, where it's trying to piecemeal it together for one more run. I don't think Washington is at that point, especially with how fiercely competitive the East is right now.
That's where.
So maybe there's lower expectations there too.
That's kind of what I was getting at too. Like, I would hope that of the two of them, I would hope both of them are this way, but I would hope of the two of them that Carberry's tenure is one of those, like, you got this short leash. Like, you're going to be here for at least 3 to 4 years, no matter what happens type of thing. Just because there's like, you don't really know the direction that they could head in. They could blow it all up next year and we'll all be like, what just happened? Or like you said, they could, remember the 5 minutes everyone thought Askarov was a bust after one. I mean, you just talked about
Pepperidge Farm.
Like, that's just today's sport culture. Like, oh, he sucks. He played one bad game, or he's 19 years old and he didn't put up like 30 shutouts in a season or whatever the hell it is. Like, can't do it. He's a bust. Yep, totally, completely.
That's why I hope Carter Hart gets out of Philadelphia this offseason. I think he needs a fresh start and get somewhere else.
Honestly, I almost hope Lafreniere or Kakko get to go somewhere else. I think they need a change of scenery.
I think Kakko would be the one more likely to be moved.
I agree.
I think Lafreniere is better poised to make it work in New York, but we'll have to see what they do.
Remember when everybody was saying Jack Hughes was a bust?
Look how that worked out. Some guys take a little bit longer.
He's going to arguably, like, how me. I'm continually saying when Patrick Kane hangs up the skates, he will be known as the best American-born player ever. Until Austin Matthews hangs him up. Until Jack Hughes hangs him up.
Quite possibly.
Most likely. I'll call my shot on that one, and that's me taking my boy. How much is he making?
How much is he making? I just looked it up. Carter Hart is making just under $4 million. It's like 3.97 something.
Oh,
but under $4 million, and then he is a restricted free agent the following year.
If we were closer to winning, I would gladly take Carter Hart, but we also have plenty of goalie talent in the pipeline too, so we don't need him.
Yeah, I really wonder. Joel, I want to run by you one more question. You put this one up on the Snipe Celly Twitter page. Among the Anaheim Ducks, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the San Jose Sharks, which team is the closest to contending? You probably pieced together that those are the teams that are picking in the top 4 spots in this year's draft. The Hawks set to get a generational talent in Connor Bedard, a term that we don't use lightly on this show. He really is generational talent. He's that good.
Sorry, I need to go towel off. I'll be right back.
Which of those teams in your book is closest? And is it Chicago?
No, it is absolutely not Chicago. I kind of teased it at the beginning of the show. We talked about it too. We're about 2 to 3 years at least away from pushing for playoff contention on a regular basis. And then even more than that for actually being a legit cup contender. Or at the very least finals contender. So it's definitely not us. It's also definitely not the Sharks. I actually had my answer. I tweeted from my personal account on our Twitter post. I really think it's the Ducks, especially getting Adam Fantilli now and adding him to your already stacked lineup of very young talent. I don't know if I said this throughout the season, but I will now if I didn't. I was very shocked at how bad Anaheim was. That to me, that was not supposed to happen. So, that's a totally different argument of, teams actually legitimately tanking or not. I personally don't think they did. I just don't know what the hell happened. I legit did not expect them to be that bad. You have names up and down this list like Trevor Zegras, Troy Terry. I know Mason McTavish played a little bit, but not like a crap ton, right?
Yeah.
So I know he's still very young, but you got some veterans like an Adam Henrique on there. You got a Brock McGinn in there, right? Like Silverberg is still there too. Ryan Strome, those are names to me, and of course John Gibson, right? You got Cam Fowler who's still there. You ain't getting any younger, but Jamie Drysdale, Kevin Shattenkirk, good, right? Kevin Shattenkirk, another nice veteran presence. I know Nathan, if I'm saying his name right, Beaulieu. He's pretty all those names. And of course, like I said, John Gibson, manning pipes. I'm not saying all those names are just these, world away all-stars, but that's a lot of talent up and down that roster. A lot of it young. So they're still up and coming and they will be for a bit here, but I really did not expect them to be this bad. So the fact that they were this bad and thus they were able to land was going to be either Bedard or Fantilli, and they're going to get Fantilli. They're taking a huge step adding Fantilli. I don't care how young he is. Olin Zellweger will be there in the next 2 years, right?
Yep. Yeah. Anaheim has a top 5 prospect pool.
Right. But that top 5 prospect pool is ready to start being injected into that starting lineup as early as this coming season.
Yeah.
So if I could put number, we would have to get our buddy in here. We'd have to get Tim in here to talk more about that. We got to get him in here. I think that'd be fun in the off season for our pre-show or our pre-draft show. But the Ducks are absolutely the closest team here. And quite frankly, I don't really think it's that close.
I am going to disagree here because I do think.
Are you going to say who my second team is?
Well, maybe. I'm not sure. But I am going to say the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to
probably. Yeah, that was probably the team you thought.
I was going to say I could hear an argument just because you get Johnny Gaudreau there, Zach Werenski's still a beauty.
Yeah, How many players played 82 games for the Blue Jackets this year?
Oh, I remember hearing the stat. I can't remember. Was it like 3?
Less than 3.
Oh, it's 0, right?
It's 0. They did
That's
not
right.
have a single 82 game player. They had 7 players who played 70 or more games among your skaters. That is they were so bad with injuries this year. Like, I cannot remember a team in history since I've been watching hockey that has gone through worse injury luck than what the Blue Jackets just went through this past season. And just getting those guys healthy, having a new head coach. I don't think have they announced a new head coach yet?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I think they're still in talks. Might be waiting until the end of the season, but they relieved Brad Larson, who he needed to go. Mm-hmm. And I look at this team that has quite a few really good young players who are close. Well, probably not next year, but the year after, with Denton Matejchuk and David Jiricek, Corson Kuhlman's on the back end, Luka Del Belbelou's up the middle. Your young guns who are kind of already there right now, Chinikov and Marchenko, Kent Johnson. They have a lot of young talent that is there. I think if they can get some consistency in that, where they do have Merzlikins, they do have Daniil Tarasov, who a solid prospect as well. I like Columbus as this team that is closest, especially when all are healthy. They have what to me are the 2 best overall players for next season on their roster, with Patrick Laine and Johnny Gaudreau.
I agree. I get it. I mean, I guess I will run back my comment of it's not close with Anaheim. Mm-hmm. I'm still going to stick with Anaheim, but I totally agree. Columbus is definitely close second, and then to me, I think what I more meant was it's not close when it comes to the Hawks or the Sharks. Like, they're not.
Yeah, there's a bit more distance there with those teams. I need to see Anaheim do a little bit better with their player development. Also, I can't believe I forgot to say Trey Fix-Wolansky with Columbus. He will be up next year, better than a point per game this year at the AHL with Monsters. He's going to be up next year.
Who do you think they take with 3?
Oh, they could go a lot of directions.
See that? You know what? Maybe I don't want to. Maybe that's a tease for our pre-draft show, because I
already threw a mock out there, so I can mention it.
So that's where it gets fun. We know 1 and 2. Then 3 is where it gets like, well, where the hell is it going?
They could go Leo Carlson, which that's where I think they'll go. However, there's a lot of steam on them liking Will Smith as 3rd overall. I don't think Michkov to Columbus makes a ton of sense.
I'm wondering if he falls.
But if you're talking about the best talent in this draft class overall, I think his ceiling is higher than Fantilli.
Who?
However,
Michkov?
Yep. I think his overall ceiling is higher than Fantilli's. However, he plays wing and Fantilli is a center. You also know that Fantilli can play in the NHL next year, whereas Michkov is 3 years off.
Right.
I love Michkov. He's going to be so good when he finally comes to North America. But that's 3 years off unless there's some way that they can figure something out and he can get out of that contract, which I don't think is going to happen. I think he's going to be there those 3 years, but he'll break records in the KHL before coming over. If Columbus picks solely for that talent and that ceiling, and they're okay with waiting for him to get there, especially knowing you have some pretty good wingers in Gaudreau and Laine right now, I could see the argument for taking Michkov there. I just think they've been loading up on centers. Go get another one, throw as many darts as you can. And
you can't have too many centers.
Get Carlson. Yeah, never.
Look
at the Minnesota Wild. That's killed them their entire franchise history. They've never had center depth. And they've never had a true 1C. I love Mikko Koivu. And it not your 1C.
And it can make a difference having center depth. Look at the Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
Had 2 of our 3 cups. We didn't have good enough center depth, and at the deadline, we got center depth.
Yep, that's what puts you over the top.
Yep. We brought in Michael Handzus in 2013 and then Antoine Vermette in 2015, and that was, I mean, they both made huge differences. Like, that's the thing. It better be Carlson. I mean, I agree, though. I think it is going to be Leo Carlson, but again, I think Smith's team right now is all smoke and mirrors to get someone to try and trade for the pick. I mean, we have stuff we can trade up for. Not into the top 5 though.
not to 3.
Yeah.
Not unless you're sending 1 back on the return. That's your only way that you're getting to 3 with your picks is if you trade down.
If we're trading 1, we better be getting that team's entire roster of picks for the next 3 years.
Remember when the New Orleans Saints traded their entire draft class, like every round, every pick to get Reggie Bush? Or not Reggie Bush, Ricky Williams.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah. With Ditka as their GM, they traded
Ditka. Come on.
Traded every pick.
Ditka. Sausage.
Arizona comes calling with 6 and 12. Is that for 3 that you're saying Arizona would go 6 and 12, or are you talking about that's for number 1?
No, I think
number 3. I can see that. Number 1.
He's saying for 3. Now 6 and 12 for 1 ain't gonna friggin' happen. He's saying for 3. You said it yourself. Columbus isn't desperate.
They aren't. And if you're thinking I can get Michkov at 6, which there is a chance Michkov will be there at 6.
Dude, I've been here.
Really
Dude, I've heard, again, none of us actually know. I've heard speculation he drops to like 9. Well, I don't think that happens, but like if that happens.
If he is on the board at 8, I want the Wild to move this year's first, next year's first, and next year's second to go get him.
That would get the trade because I heard talks if he drops to let's just say 8. Let's meet a little bit above 9. So let's say he drops to 8. That's where a lot of the like local podcasts here have been saying like I'll gladly give out 19 and 2 of our 4 second round picks to try and move up to 8 and grab Michkov if he's there because why the hell not?
Mm-hmm. I mean, and if I'm the Wild too, I'm looking at it and going, I can potentially have almost an entire line, if you want to look at it that way, of Danila Yurov, Liam Ugrin, and Matvei Michkov, and have those 3 guys all coming over at the same time.
There's your second line to start. There's your starting second
line that is ready to go.
Yeah. There's your
right as the window opens up too. As soon as you are through the Parise Suter buyouts, you have those 3 guys coming over and NHL ready at that point. Oh man, Matthew, you're exactly right. I'd love to go down the rabbit hole on this one.
We will be going down the rabbit hole. We will.
We'll do a pre-draft show, and then Soda Pod is. I've heard through the grapevine that they're doing their live draft show again this year, which an absolute must watch.
The timing. The draft is the 28th, which is a Wednesday. Look at that.
Yeah. So we'll get to do our show the day before. We're going to do it on a Wednesday. Normally they go Thursday.
It's June 28th, right? Am I wrong? Should be June 28th.
Good question. Wednesday, June 28th. So
round 1. Yeah.
Weird that they're going Wednesday and Thursday. Normally they go Thursday, Friday.
This is more of a tease.
Or Friday, Saturday.
This is not a tease. It's not a tease. It's a conversation topic. Sound off in the comments if you vote yes. Do we do a live draft show just like we did a live draft lottery show? Sound off.
We I don't think are going to be able to do a live draft show.
Why not?
Well, the last couple of years, as I was just teasing the Soda Pod stream, I've been with those guys for 3 years on that show, so I may have other commitments for that one.
Am I coming with?
I don't know. You're welcome to ask. What prospects do you know about?
That hurts, man. That hurts. You're gonna ditch me? Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
It's all Minnesota Wild podcast, guys.
Yeah, that's fine. You go ahead. You ditch me, and you ditch me. I'll go watch my boys pick Bedard live on my own.
Oh, you're welcome to do that, by all means, because the rest of us all be giving you the finger off camera.
I can't. I already got the money is set aside for my Connor Bedard jersey the minute it drops. Anywho.
That's about all the time that we had for tonight. We usually budget about an hour for the show. Do you want to do a 2 minutes for roughing?
I don't really know if I have.
Or do we just want to turn that 2 minutes into just a quick, hey, reminder about BetStamp?
Yeah, let's do that because I don't really have anything to rant about.
Yeah, we're going to rant about how you should go download the BetStamp app. You can go to www.betstamp.app/PodSnipe Celly. The app is free. Joel, you've mentioned it on the show here. Better is making $1,000 more per year by shopping the lines with this app.
Yep.
Use our promo code PodSnipeCelly, no spaces. When you are signing up, you can sign up for sportsbooks through the app. You cannot place bets through the BetStamp app. You can just track what bets you're making.
Yes.
Important distinction there. But it helps us out if you are downloading the app. It helps us out if you are signing up for those sportsbooks through the app. The app is free.
It's free, people. It's free.
Part. They are giving away a chance to win more money with your sports bets that we know you're already making anyway. So go check them out. They are awesome. They have been our sponsor now for almost a month. I guess this is our fourth show with BetStamp as our official sponsor. So thank you to BetStamp for making the show possible, as you've done for the last few shows now. We really appreciate BetStamp. Go give them some love. They are awesome.
And use as Dan said, pop that link up one more time just for everybody. Yep, www.betstamp.app/PodSnipeCelly. And make sure you follow our Twitter if you don't already. And if you do, be on the lookout because once we actually have some lines for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, we'll be sending out a nice old BetStamp screenshot of what we're looking to do. But we won't actually have lines for that until probably
the lines there won't come out until Friday. I mean, they'll be out,
Thursday,
but they won't
Friday.
be. I would say wait until Friday, maybe even Saturday day of, just to get the most.
The only thing
accurate. We'll get the opening lines.
The only thing they probably have is just straight up who's winning the series.
Yeah, they aren't going to have single game lines until I would think until we know for sure who all is healthy. And I think everybody's healthy heading in. I checked the injury report earlier. Nobody for Florida was listed. For Vegas, you have Brassois and Thompson, who close. Brassois, we knew was going to be out basically the whole series with Dallas. Logan Thompson, close. I don't think unless Aiden Hill forgets how to play goaltender, I don't think we would see Thompson anyway.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Go down.
So that's that. So
also don't be fooled. I did see there are lines and stuff on the BetStamp app for Game 1, but they're all like virtually the same across the board because no app has any true lines just yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's that's that. Stay tuned for our BetStamp picks as we go through the series, and go download that app. But that's it for tonight's show. Thank you to everybody who watched. Thanks to everybody who commented throughout the show. We had a bunch of comments tonight too.
Keep it coming,
Jack. We had a whole bunch of people in there. So we'll be back next Tuesday, 8:00 Eastern, 7 Central.
Good boy.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on Twitter, Facebook, and on YouTube at Podsnipe Celly. He's Joel. I'm Dan.
Viva Las Vegas.
We'll see you next Tuesday, everybody.